Tell me, have you ever experienced this? The day is over, you feel tired, you lie down in bed, but sleep just won't come? Or you wake up in the middle of the night, as if jolted awake, your heart pounding, and in the morning, your head feels heavy, as if you haven't rested at all. A familiar feeling, right? As we age, our bodies change. Our blood vessels become less elastic than they used to be, and blood pressure can fluctuate. And, the evening hours, the time before sleep, it's a special period. The body prepares for rest, all processes slow down, and it's precisely at this time that some of our habits can play a cruel trick on us. Like invisible thieves, they sneak up and create strain where it shouldn't be, especially on our blood vessels, our heart, our brain. Today, we're talking about the risk of stroke, a formidable condition that, unfortunately, can strike suddenly. And often, the trigger is our evening rituals. For example, a heavy dinner right before bed is like sending a loaded train over a fragile bridge at night, or salty snacks while watching a series. They're like little salt bombs, hitting your blood pressure from the inside. I want to talk to you today not to scare you, no, but rather to figure out together what simple, yet very important changes you can make to your evening routine to sleep more peacefully, wake up more refreshed, and, most importantly, reduce this insidious risk. I promise the advice will be accessible, understandable, without complex terms or impossible demands. Let's give ourselves more healthy and peaceful nights together. Stay with me until the end. This is truly important for your well-being. 1. Saying goodbye to heavy dinners before bed. So, the first thing we'll discuss is our evening meal. I know how sometimes after a long day, you want to treat yourself to something hearty, like fried potatoes with a cutlet, or a bowl of rich borscht with pampushki, garlic rolls. I understand you perfectly. But let's think. What happens in the body when we send all this richness into the stomach right before lying down? Imagine, your body is already preparing for sleep. All systems are slowing down, like a city falling asleep under the cover of night. And then you give the command, full speed, ahead, to your digestion. The stomach is forced to work to exhaustion. Blood rushes to it, diverting from other important tasks, such as nourishing the brain and heart. Blood pressure can rise, blood sugar levels can spike. It's like trying to start a large load of laundry in the house when everyone is already asleep, noisy, energy-consuming, and disturbing everyone's peace. I want to tell you the story of Michael. He's 72. Michael loved a heavy dinner all his life. He used to say, "How can you go to bed hungry? A man should eat substantially." His wife Mary cooked wonderfully, and the evening table often groaned with delicacies. But in recent years, Michael started noticing he was sleeping worse. He often woke up with heartburn, heaviness in his stomach, and felt exhausted in the morning, as if he'd been unloading train cars. His blood pressure started acting up. His doctor advised him to eat lighter and earlier, about 3 to 4 hours before bed. Michael initially brushed it off. Nonsense. I've eaten like this my whole life, and nothing happened. It seemed to him that a light dinner was like betraying his habits, his masculine nature. He grumbled that he would be hungry and angry. But Mary convinced him to try. Instead of fried meat with potatoes, baked fish with vegetables, or a cottage cheese bake. Instead of a late dinner at 9 p.m., a light meal around 7 p.m. The first few days were unusual for Michael, even a bit sad without his favorite dishes before bed. He admitted that his hand kept reaching for the refrigerator, but after just a week, he noticed a difference. The heartburn was gone. He started falling asleep faster and sleeping more soundly, without waking up several times a night. And most importantly, in the morning, he felt rested, full of energy. His blood pressure also became more stable. He himself was surprised. Wow, and I thought it was just old age. It turned out that a light dinner wasn't a deprivation, but a gift to his body. It's like letting the nighttime city sleep peacefully, instead of starting construction work outside the windows. So, what should you do? Try to have dinner no later than 3 hours before sleep. Choose light meals, lean meat or fish, preferably boiled, baked, steamed, vegetables, cottage cheese, kefir. Avoid fried, fatty, smoked foods. This simple change will allow your body to truly rest at night, not work overtime. Your blood vessels will thank you, and your sleep will become deep and restorative. Give it a try. Give your body this chance for nighttime peace. 2. Salty traps before bed. Now let's talk about salt. Oh, salt. How often does your hand reach for a bag of chips, crisps, salty nuts, or seeds while watching your favorite movie in the evening? Or maybe you crave a little pickled cucumber, a piece of herring. It seems like such a small thing, right? But before bed, this small thing can turn into a real saboteur for your blood vessels. Salt retains water in the body. Imagine that each grain of salt is a tiny magnet for water. You eat a handful of salty food, and now excess fluid is circulating in your blood vessels, increasing the volume of blood. The heart has to work harder to pump this increased mass. Blood pressure rises, and at night, when you're lying down, this effect can be particularly pronounced. Your blood vessels, especially if they are already less flexible, experience additional strain. It's like overinflating a balloon. The walls stretch tighter and tighter. I remember Eleanor. She was 68. She loved watching British detective series in the evenings and always had a small bowl of salty crackers or olives nearby. She said it was her little ritual that helped her relax. But she started noticing that her face was often puffy in the mornings, with bags under her eyes. She was tormented by thirst at night and had to get up to drink water. And sometimes she had headaches. She attributed it to the weather, to her age. Until one day she saw an attentive doctor who asked her about her evening habits. When Eleanor told him about her salty snacks, the doctor explained the connection between salt, fluid retention, and her symptoms, also mentioning the risk to her blood vessels. Eleanor was initially upset. Well, there goes my last joy. It seemed to her that the evening would be incomplete, boring, without her favorite crackers. She decided to try replacing the salty snacks with something else. Instead of crackers, she started putting a small bowl of berries or sliced apple next to her. The first few evenings felt strange. Her hand habitually reached for something salty, but she persevered. And guess what? After just a few days, she noticed she was waking up without puffiness. The nighttime thirst disappeared, and her head felt clearer in the mornings. She felt lighter, more energetic. Eleanor realized that the momentary pleasure of the salty taste wasn't worth the discomfort and risk she was creating for her body. She found new, healthy rituals, like brewing herself a delicious herbal tea without sugar. What's the takeaway? Try to avoid salty foods for at least 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Chips, crackers, salty nuts, sausages, smoked meats, canned goods. It's best to leave these for the first half of the day, and even then, in moderation. If you really want something to chew on in the evening, let it be a piece of fruit, a handful of unsweetened berries, vegetable sticks, carrot celery, or a small glass of kefir. It's like replacing a turbulent, salty river with a calm, clear stream before nightfall. Take care of your blood vessels. Don't overload them with extra work. Your morning self will thank you with a fresh appearance and a clear head. Original text includes a call to action here. If you are still watching this video and find the information useful, write the number 2 in the comments or something nice if what I'm talking about is useful to you, so I know you're here. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is the time to fix that. Subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. Well then, let's move on. Okay, let's move on. 3. Alcohol, a false friend before bed. And now for a delicate but very important topic. Alcohol before sleep. A small glass of cognac for appetite or to help sleep. A glass of wine to relax after a hard day. Many believe that alcohol helps them fall asleep. And indeed, it can cause drowsiness. But this is a very insidious trap. Sleep induced by alcohol is poor quality, superficial. Alcohol disrupts the sleep architecture, especially the crucial REM sleep phase when our brain processes information and restores itself. As a result, you might sleep through the night, but wake up feeling groggy, unrested. But that's not all. Alcohol affects vascular tone. Initially, it might dilate blood vessels, causing a feeling of warmth and relaxation. But then the opposite effect occurs. The vessels constrict, and blood pressure can spike. This is especially dangerous at night when the body's control mechanisms are weakened. Alcohol also dehydrates you and thickens the blood, creating an additional risk of blood clot formation. Imagine you're trying to put a fussy child, your body, to sleep, and instead of a lullaby, you first give it candy, relaxation, and then abruptly snatch it away. Pressure spike, sleep disruption. Will it fall asleep peacefully? David, 75, always considered himself a moderate man, but the habit of having a small glass of whiskey before bed had become ingrained since his 50s. He sincerely believed it helped him relieve stress and sleep better. However, in recent years, his sleep became intermittent. He often woke up in the middle of the night feeling anxious, his heart racing. He felt tired in the morning, and his mood was low. He complained to his doctor about poor sleep, but didn't mention the evening whiskey. He considered it insignificant, even a beneficial ritual. His daughter, worried about his condition, gently talked to him, explaining the effects of alcohol on sleep and blood vessels in older age. David initially reacted defensively. "I've done this all my life. It's my tradition." He was afraid to give up a habit that seemed like a crutch to him. He feared he wouldn't be able to sleep at all without whiskey. His daughter suggested an experiment. Try replacing the whiskey with a cup of warm milk with honey or chamomile tea for at least a week. David agreed reluctantly, mostly to prove it wouldn't help. The first couple of nights were indeed difficult for him to fall asleep. He missed the familiar ritual. But then, he was surprised to notice that he started sleeping more deeply. He stopped waking up in the middle of the night. He woke up in the morning feeling refreshed, something he hadn't experienced in a long time. The anxiety subsided. He confessed to his daughter, "You know, you were right. I never thought that my helper was actually hindering me so much." He realized that alcohol was like a crutch that didn't heal, but only interfered with walking on his own. So, what can we do? Try to completely avoid alcohol before bed. Even a small dose can disrupt your rest and place unnecessary strain on your heart and blood vessels. If you need a ritual for relaxation, choose a healthy alternative. A warm bath, calm music, a book, a cup of herbal tea, chamomile, mint, lemon balm, or simply a glass of warm water. It's like replacing a noisy party before bed with a quiet evening by the fireplace. Give your body real, healthy rest. It's an invaluable investment in your longevity and well-being. 4. The last cigarette. A blow to your vessels. Smoking. I know that for many who have smoked for years, this is a very difficult topic, and that last cigarette before bed might seem particularly important, like a period at the end of the day, a moment for reflection on the balcony or by the window. But let's face the truth, nicotine is a powerful stimulant. Every puff makes your heart beat faster, raises your blood pressure, and constricts your blood vessels. And all this happens precisely when your body desperately needs the opposite: relaxation, slowing down, preparation for rest. By smoking a cigarette before bed, you are essentially giving your body the command, alert, to battle. It's like trying to fall asleep to the sound of a running drill next door. Blood vessels constrict, blood flow worsens, including to the brain. This creates additional strain on the entire cardiovascular system and increases the risk of nighttime incidents, including stroke. Let's remember Margaret. She was 65. She had smoked since she was young, and the cigarette before bed ritual was sacred to her. She said it was the only time she could be alone with her thoughts, but she slept poorly, often waking up coughing, and felt drained in the mornings. Several times she experienced severe dizziness at night. Quitting smoking seemed impossible to her, especially giving up that last calming cigarette. She associated it with the end of the day, with a kind of meditation. She was afraid of losing this island of familiar calm, however illusory. Her son, a doctor, patiently explained to her that this last cigarette caused the most harm because its effects overlapped with the body's natural nighttime processes of slowing down. He didn't insist on quitting immediately, knowing how difficult it was, but suggested at least shifting the time of the last cigarette an hour or two earlier, and replacing the alone time ritual itself with something else. For example, just sitting by the window with a cup of herbal tea, looking at the stars, or listening to calm music. Margaret was skeptical, but decided to try, for her son's sake. She started smoking her last cigarette right after dinner, and before bed, she would just go out on the balcony for some fresh air. At first, it felt very strange. Her hand automatically reached for the pack, but she held on, and after just a couple of weeks, she noticed it was easier to fall asleep. Her nighttime cough decreased. The dizziness stopped. She felt as if her body could breathe more easily. She realized the cigarette didn't calm her down, but, on the contrary, kept her nervous system constantly tense. What path should you choose? The ideal option, of course, is to quit smoking altogether, but if that seems impossible for now, take at least one important step. Do not smoke for at least 1.5 to 2 hours before sleep. Try to replace the smoking ritual itself with something healthier and truly relaxing. A few minutes of deep breathing, light stretching, reading a book. It's like replacing an alarm signal before bed with a quiet lullaby. Give your blood vessels a chance to relax and rest at night. Every hour without nicotine before sleep is your contribution to health and safety. Original text includes another call to action here. If you are not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss new videos. Your support helps us continue creating useful and inspiring content for you. And now, let's keep going. 5. Information overload and stress before bed. We live in a world overflowing with information. News, politics, social media, work issues. And often, we continue to immerse ourselves in this stream right up until the last moment before sleep. We watch the evening news on TV, full of disturbing reports, argue with loved ones about politics, mentally replay work problems, or read upsetting posts online. It seems like we're just getting information or communicating. But in reality, during this time, our brain is actively working and our emotional system is under strain. Anxious news, arguments, worries, all these trigger the release of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. And these hormones are direct antagonists of sleep. They raise blood pressure, quicken the heartbeat, and keep the nervous system in a state of high alert. Falling asleep in this state is difficult, and if sleep does come, it's often superficial, restless, with unpleasant dreams. It's like trying to sleep at a train station during train announcements. The brain is constantly distracted by external and internal alarm signals. Chronic evening stress wears out our nervous and cardiovascular systems. Arthur, 78, was a very responsible man and always wanted to stay informed about everything. Every evening, he would definitely watch the 10 o'clock news bulletin and then discuss what he saw with his wife for a long time or replay it in his head. He often went to bed agitated, upset, or indignant. His sleep was poor. He tossed and turned, unable to switch off his thoughts. He woke up with a heavy head and feeling tired. He considered it his duty to follow the news, thinking otherwise he would fall behind the times. It seemed to him that giving up the evening news meant showing indifference. His granddaughter, a psychologist, seeing her grandfather's condition, gently suggested he try changing his evening ritual. "Grandpa," she said, "you can catch up on the news in the morning, with a clear head, right? Let's dedicate the evening to something calm." She suggested listening to audiobooks of his favorite classic novels or calm instrumental music instead of the news. Arthur initially resisted. "What, am I an old grandpa who's going to listen to stories?" He felt awkward changing a habit that seemed important and adult to him. But his granddaughter was persistent and picked out several interesting audiobooks for him. Arthur decided to try it, not wanting to offend her. The first few evenings, he caught himself thinking he was missing something important. But then, he noticed that the stories captivated and calmed him. The narrator's voice was lulling. He started falling asleep much faster. His thoughts before sleep were calm and pleasant. He woke up rested, with a clear head. He started reading the news in the morning newspaper and perceived it much more calmly. He realized that evening, peace wasn't a luxury, but a necessity. It's like closing the windows and doors of your house for the night against the street noise, so it's quiet and cozy inside. What can we do? Try to put away all gadgets at least an hour before bed. Turn off the TV, especially news and political shows. Avoid arguments and discussions of upsetting topics. Create an island of tranquility for yourself before sleep. Read a paper book, not from a screen. Listen to quiet music. Take a warm bath with lavender. Do some relaxation exercises. Chat with loved ones about pleasant, neutral topics. It's like wrapping yourself in a warm blanket against the evening hustle and bustle. Allow your nervous system and blood vessels to switch to rest mode. Your sleep will become deeper and your morning kinder. 6. Sweet temptations at night. And the last point for today, sweets before bed. A piece of cake, a few cookies with tea, a candy, a sweet yogurt, or even a glass of sweet juice. It seems like a pleasant end to the day, a little reward for yourself. But sugar consists of simple carbohydrates that cause a sharp spike in blood glucose levels. In response, the body releases a large dose of insulin to process this sugar. Then, the sugar level drops just as sharply. This blood sugar roller coaster can disrupt the production of sleep hormones, cause anxiety, night sweats, and even nighttime awakenings. Furthermore, excess sugar promotes inflammatory processes in the body, including in the walls of blood vessels, making them more fragile and vulnerable. It's like adding fuel to the fire before trying to extinguish it. Instead of preparing for rest and recovery, the body is forced to deal with the consequences of the sugar hit. Susan, 69, had a terrible sweet tooth. She couldn't imagine an evening without dessert. Most often, it was a pastry or a few candies with tea right before bed. She complained about frequently waking up at night drenched in sweat. Her sleep was superficial, and she had no energy in the morning. She thought it was related to age, to hormonal changes. Giving up sweets at night seemed like real torture to her, a deprivation of life's joys. She used to say, there should be at least some joy in old age. Her friend, who was into healthy eating, advised her to try replacing evening sweets with something less harmful. For example, a small handful of berries, a piece of dark chocolate with high cocoa content, or just herbal tea with a teaspoon of honey, but not right before bed, a bit earlier. Susan hesitated for a long time. It seemed like it wouldn't be the same, but her sleep problems and morning weakness bothered her so much that she decided to risk it. She started drinking chamomile tea in the evening, sometimes allowing herself a couple of squares of dark chocolate about 2 hours before bed. At first, she really missed the familiar sweetness of pastries, but she noticed that the night sweats started bothering her much less often. Her sleep became smoother, deeper. She felt significantly more energetic in the morning. She realized that the momentary pleasure from sugar resulted in hours of feeling unwell for her. She found new joys, for example, in an evening walk or reading an interesting book, which gave her peace, not a sugar spike. What's the takeaway? Avoid consuming sugar and simple carbohydrates, white bread, pastries, sweets, sugary drinks, for at least 2 to 3 hours before sleep. If you really crave something sweet, choose a piece of fruit, not too sweet like an apple or grapefruit, or a few berries. The best drink before bed is plain water or unsweetened herbal tea. It's like replacing a noisy firework display before bed with the soft glow of a nightlight. Allow your blood sugar levels to remain stable, and your blood vessels calm. Your body will thank you with sound sleep and good health. So, we've covered several important points concerning our evening habits. They might seem like small things: dinner, salt, a glass of wine, a cigarette, the news, dessert. But it's precisely these small things that make up our well-being, our health, our safety. Please don't perceive this advice as strict prohibitions or yet another set of restrictions. View it as an act of self-care, care for your body, which has served you faithfully for many years and deserves the most gentle treatment. You possess great wisdom, life experience, and you know better than anyone that small but regular efforts can work wonders. You don't need to change everything at once. Start with one thing that seems most accessible to you. Try it. Listen to your body. You will definitely feel the difference. Remember, self-care is not selfishness. It's a necessity, especially at our elegant age. You have every right to feel good, sleep soundly, and have a peaceful heart. Your health is in your hands, and even small steps towards healthy habits can build a longer, more active, and joyful future for you. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Take care, my dears. Until next time.